Hi, I'm Daniel. I'm a sleep physician. And if you want to sleep amazing, this channel is for you. In this important episode, we're going to see that the intent of your actions determine if it is a good strategy or not. Whenever you're doing something to escape the darkness, that produces more darkness. When you do that same thing to move towards the light, you are on the right path towards sleeping amazing for the rest of your life. Hey there, and welcome to Insomnia Insight number 296, which, as said, I believe is a very important one. And before we start, just a quick background. I had a conversation with my cousin, you know who you are, a few weeks ago, and she was talking about this episode where she was feeling really good. Something happened, made her feel kind of sad and off, and then somehow she managed kind of to get herself to feeling better again. And I told her that, you know what, that may not have been the best strategy, because what you're teaching yourself when you're kind of avoiding that emotion, that sadness, is that it's bad to be sad. And although what you did made you feel better in that very instant, you may have taught yourself something, or you may be training your brain in a way that long term you may not be able to get completely past the fear of being sad, and thereby more sadness. And I shared with her that when I feel down, I know that I have to do something. I do something like this. I record a video, or I write a blog post, or something like that. And then she asked me, so what's the difference if I do this and you do that? I said, it's the intent. I do something because I know cognitively that it is something I enjoy, that I like to do. And the process of doing that kind of like makes me leave the place I was in. And when you're trying to avoid an emotion, that actually grows its power. I said something to that effect. And then she said, I see. You have to always move towards the light. And when she said that, just stuck with me. I said that was so well put. I actually didn't tell her that. I should have told her that. But now I'm sharing that. That just stuck with me. You have to always move towards the light. And therefore, I want to talk more about this. So here are some examples that I hope will illustrate that when you're doing something to escape a feeling or a situation or something like that, then that's not helpful. It's just going to grow the impact it has. But if you're doing something for pleasure, for enjoyment, something you know gives you purpose, that is the path. And now let's look at some examples. So one I thought about just now, I think is a good one, is this one. Imagine someone that is struggling with, something that's happened in their life. They're starting to feel really sad. And they decide to drink, to have a 6-pack, to kind of numb those emotions, to escape, that mental state they're in. When they're doing that, they may very well feel kind of like sedated, and it may feel a little bit better for the time being, but that action does not, we all know that action does not lead to a place of happiness, because they're drinking to try to escape the sadness. They're teaching themselves that they have no control. They're teaching themselves that, you have to avoid sadness. They're teaching themselves that like sadness is really bad. We don't want to have it. You have to do things to try to escape it. And what happens is that sadness actually grows. The problem becomes worse. Now imagine a scenario where, somebody's attending somebody's bachelor party and has a 6-pack because it's just such a great time. It's a festive spirit. Everybody's happy, and you're having the 6-pack to just, kind of lose some, release some inhibitions and just have fun, just enjoy. The action is the same. That fictional person we're talking about here is having a 6-pack, but the intent is different, and that leads to kind of completely different results. Escaping sadness brings more sadness. Pursuing the light, enjoying, just amplifies happiness, leads to more happiness. One more example. Let's say somebody's struggling with like anxiety and wants to have less of that, and decides that they're going to start yoga to have less anxiety. Well, guess what? Same thing is going to happen there. When they're in yoga practice, they're going to be thinking about how this is going to affect their anxiety. They're going to be hopeful that it's going to reduce their anxiety. They're trying to escape the anxiety, which then actually brings more attention to the problem, and the anxiety grows. Again, you're teaching yourself that anxiety is bad, it's something you should avoid, it's something that you have to do things to try to escape. You're trying again to escape the darkness, and the darkness grows. If another person decides that, I used to do yoga, I haven't done it in a while, and it used to be really fun, and I want to do that again, then that's amazing. That takes them to a place of growth and enjoyment and fulfillment. It's the same actions. It's doing, practicing yoga. The intent makes all the difference. And here's where we get practical. So how can you use this insight? Well, by the way, I think this applies to like much more than insomnia, as we've seen in these examples. And I'm going to talk much more about this concept. I've had some real insights, some real profound insights, and I'm planning to do a video about that, and it's going to change things a little bit around here. We're going to talk about a little different things. But anyway, back to the topic here. The way I feel like you should use this insight is the following. Oftentimes people ask me, should I have coffee at this time or not? Should I watch TV this time or not? How light should I be? Should I avoid screens? Things of that nature. And that's where this question becomes. That's where this insight really is helpful. Ask yourself why you're trying to do that. If you have trouble sleeping, if you're doing anything in an effort to kind of escape insomnia, escape sleeplessness, you're trying to not have that by doing this action, then it's not a good idea. It's not a good idea, because you in an attempt to escape the insomnia, you're going to have more of it. Escaping the darkness means more darkness. If, on the other hand, you think about this thing and you're asking, should I do this or not? And you query yourself and you realize, I want to do that because that will bring me joy. That's something that will bring me purpose, something I want to do. Then you're going towards the light. Then you are on the right path. So that question of intent, why you're doing something, is the key to whether you should do it or not. And I really believe that if you exercise this and you kind of figure out what you're doing for the right purpose or the wrong purpose, you can really take leaps towards sleeping amazing. We're going to talk much more about kind of this concept as we go along. Probably have this particular video that I'm trying to make that I've actually hired someone on Fiverr to help me with that, but I hope that will be done in maybe a week or two. After that, we're going to talk much more about these type of insights and how we can approach not only insomnia actually, but many other things that bother us. So with that said, if you have a question, then please leave a comment or send me an email, daniel@insomniainsight.co, and I hope to have you back here real soon. Until then, take it easy.